Hi, I'm Daniel Lucas, and welcome to Book 101 Review. Book 101 is all about the books that I read for the last 40 years. And today I have my special guest. I'm almost okay navigating the grief of parental loss, miscarriage, and divorce. No other than Miss Amanda Landis.
Hi.
Welcome, Miss Amanda. I'm Book 101 Review, and can you please introduce more about yourself? That I
Uh,
missed.
sure. Thank you. My name is Amanda Landis, and I just recently published my first book, which is entitled I'm Almost Okay, Navigating the Grief of Parental Loss, Miscarriage, and Divorce. I'm a psychologist, and so the book really focuses on my personal and professional perspectives on navigating grief.
And thank you so much for sharing your book to the world. Thank you, Miss Amanda. Is it available where books are sold?
Yeah, it's currently out on Amazon in ebook, hard copy, and paperback.
Congratulations. So,
Thank you.
is it correlated to the topic that we are talking about today? How to support others when you're struggling to your book?
Yeah, so the main story in my book was a period in time when my dad had been diagnosed with glioblastoma, which is a rare and fatal form of brain cancer. And then during the course of his illness, I also struggled with other personal issues. So it's the book kind of focuses on how to manage your own hard times and crises while also trying to be a supportive caregiver for another person.
That'd be awesome. So when we someone struggling, our first instinct is to often to fix it. Why these instincts so counterproductive, and what should our primary goal to be instead?
So I think it is counterproductive, right? Because we can't fix it. Like nobody could fix that my dad was sick and that he was dying for me, even though people wanted to, And I think the reason that people tend to do those things is because they want to feel like they can do something, and that if there's a way to fix it, right? Maybe there's some control, or there's a way to make sense of something that really doesn't make sense. But we can't, right? So the thing that can actually be helpful to people is to really to listen to them, to hear what they need, and to just be there. I think a lot of times when people feel like they don't know what to say when somebody's grieving, they'll maybe step into the background or say nothing, or say like, okay, well, they'll reach out to me when they're ready. But a lot of times people who are grieving, I know this was true for me, like I just wanted to feel normal. I just wanted to talk to my friends and have conversations about literally anything else other than all of the very hard things that I was going through.
Miss Amanda,
Yes.
you've said support is more about presence than performance. What does being fully present for a struggling person look like and feel like, especially when you feel helpless?
I think it looks like showing up for them. It looks like taking maybe some of your own needs out of the way, and really hearing what the other person needs, and trying to just be open and understanding, and meet them where they are in terms of what it looks like to be social, what it looks like to be funny, what it looks like to just be a place where they can be comfortable to cry if that's what they want to do.
Is there a specific chapter of I'm almost okay that you talk about how to support others when they are struggling?
Yeah, so the majority of the book is my personal story, and I give some guidance throughout it, just in my perspective. And the last chapter, I really focus on tips for caregivers, tips for people who are maybe in the process of losing somebody, and this generally how to kind of move through difficult situations with as few regrets as possible.
A few regrets. A helpful metaphor is that a supporter's role is to hold a container for someone's pain. What are the essential qualities like steadiness, no judgment, boundaries that make a container safe and strong?
I think some of the ones you hit on are great, right? No judgment, being stable. Those are really important things. I think also just letting go of the idea that you need to solve somebody else's problems or that you need to give them advice about how to solve their own problems can be very helpful. One of the things I say in the book is like, when there's nothing to say anything, right? You don't have to show up for somebody in a way where you're like an expert on knowing what they need to do. But just being there can be all that somebody needs sometimes.
Yes, definitely. Support.
Mhm.
100% support. So, what is a better, more open ended alternative? That well meaning but often limiting question: how can I help you?
That's a good question. I mean, and I think it's a great question to ask. And I think one of the hard things is that people don't always know. I know a lot of the times when people asked me while I was going through hard times, and even now, what can I do to help? I don't always know, right? Like, and I think it puts a lot of responsibility on a person who's going through something to have to then also like instruct the other people in their lives about how to interact with them or what to do. Um, I think for a lot of people, maybe a more helpful approach would be to say like, hey, I'm going to do this. Is this okay? Or unless you don't want me to, I'm going to call you like every couple days to check in on you, or I'm going to make sure that we do this thing together once a week. So if you give somebody who's grieving or struggling some of the structure, then they don't have to come up with the ideas for everybody else on their own.
Miss Amanda,
Mhm.
what are the tangible signs that you are truly listening to understand someone's experience rather than just waiting to offer your own advice or story?
So that's I think that's something that we can fall in the trap of a lot, right? Like in any sort of conversation, a lot of times we wait until it's our turn to talk, and we're while somebody else is talking to us, we're thinking of like what we want to say versus really really listening. So I think finding ways to shut off that part of our brain where we feel like this impulse to solve the problem or to give an example or to over relate to our own situation. We want to be able to relate to other people because that's where empathy comes from, right? Empathy is the ability to kind of like put yourself in somebody else's position, but you can overdo it and make it about you rather than letting it be about them. So I think finding ways to finding ways to maybe internally relate, but also be quiet and give them the space to talk about what they need to talk about and to grieve in their own way.
At Arizona State University, we're bringing world-class education from our globally acclaimed faculty to you. Earn your degree from the nation's most innovative university. Online. That's a degree better. Learn more at asuonline.asu.edu.
Even if it's different from maybe how you would do it.
And how do we effectively validate someone's feelings without accidentally dismissing them, prematurely jumping to a silver lining?
Right. Yeah, I think that's another really challenging thing, right? Because if we love somebody or we care about them, we want to let them know that things are okay, and say like, oh, look at all of these positive things, look at all of these good things going on. But in doing so, you do minimize the hard situation that's happening. So I think allowing people to be sad when they're sad and not feeling like you need to fix it or feeling like you need to problem solve, but being able to agree with somebody and say, yeah, that sucks. That's really hard that this is happening right now. And leave it at that, right? Without jumping to but it's going to be okay. And you're going to be fine and you'll figure it out, right? Just being able to say like, yeah, you're going through something hard and it's okay to feel bad about it.
Yes, and let's talk about the power of end. How can we acknowledge the full truth of a situation, the pain and the person's strength, the despair and known resource without the but that negates the first half?
So how do we acknowledge the pain
Yes.
without jumping to the other conclusions, right? I think it's giving people that space again. It's being able to um hear their pain and be a shoulder to cry on, be comforting in some way without that idea of like I have to fix this, or I need to, it's my responsibility to give somebody a solution to something that maybe doesn't have one. There's a lot of problems in life that we can't fix, and we kind of just have to get through them and get to the other side. And there isn't a shortcut.
Miss Amanda, beyond just listening, what are some specific non-obvious practical offers of support that can truly alleviate pressure during crisis?
Yeah, I mean, during crisis, it's that's that's a challenge, and I think it really is individual to each person, and it really takes knowing the people in your life, to be able to figure out what they need in crisis. So knowing somebody well, hearing them, um, and maybe having a toolkit that you can apply to say like, okay, like in a crisis situation, I know that the thing that I'm good at is feeding people or making phone calls, and relying on your own strengths to help support somebody else. Finding the places where you can say like, I'm going to step up and maybe help take a little bit of control or alleviate some of the pressure or the stress for this person, in a supportive way, without saying, oh, here's what you should do, or here's how to solve this problem, or here's how you should think about it.
Miss Amanda, I'm almost okay. What chapter or which chapter you are proud the most?
So I'm pretty proud of the whole book. I'm certainly proud of the end, where I'm able to kind of pull from my own personal experiences and give people some guidance about how to navigate their own situations. I think the part that was the hardest for me to write about, and I guess I would be the most proud of for actually getting through it and doing it, is where I chronicle what it was like to be with my dad as he got sicker and ultimately pass away, and what it was like to be with him during his last, like couple hours before he passed away. It was very hard to write, and I am proud of myself for being able to to do that and to put it out into the world.
Yes, and we are proud of you because you shared to the world, Miss Amanda.
Thanks.
Thank you for sharing to the world. How can we ensure our own past experience or anxieties don't color the support we offer, projecting our solution onto their unique struggle?
That's a really great question, and I think it's something that is a challenge for most people. We are colored by our past experiences, and I think it can be really easy to develop like negative worldviews and become cynical because of the hard things that we've gone through, or use the negative events that we've experienced to kind of confirm that the world is an unkind place, and that life is unfair. I think that the challenge is to be able to pull the lessons from it, and to be able to say, okay, this terrible thing happened, but because of it, this other good piece happened. For example, I lost my dad. It was an extremely hard situation. Brain cancer is a devastating thing to have to experience. As a result of that experience, I became very close with my stepmother and my little sister, and I'm extremely grateful for that relationship, even though it came out of something that was very, very unpleasant for all of us. I'm glad that I have that, and so that is something positive that I have taken away from that experience.
Miss Amanda, as an debut author, what are your short-term and long-term goals?
I'm a practicing psychologist, I guess, and so my goals are really to be able to help people. I would like people to learn ways to be more positive in their own lives, and to look for the gratitude that we can use to get through hard situations. Long term, it's kind of the same, right? I want to keep being able to do what I'm doing. I'd like to be able to be a support for people who are going through something, who are struggling. And if nothing else, that for my story that I'm telling, to help show people that life can be really hard. We all go through it in one way or another. And even though it might look different for one person to the next, that there's something relatable there. We've all had our struggles, and there is another side to them, and things can get better.
Yes, indeed. And good luck to your goals, Miss Amanda. I'm looking forward for more success. And what will be your piece of advice for those people out there who want to be like you?
So for people who want to be authors, I would say keep at it. It's a lot of work. There are ways to do it now that are amazing and much more accessible. I'm self-published, and there are huge communities of people that can help you do that. For people who want to be psychologists, it's a lot of school, it's a lot of work, and if it's something that you're passionate about, though, it's worth persevering through.
It's worth it, people. Push through it. And thank you for that advice.
Sure.
Miss Amanda, thank you. And can you please recommend a book or books that influenced your journey?
Yeah, so I've always been really interested in memoir style books. People used to joke that I was really nosy because I wanted to read about people's lives. I wanted to learn about them and understand them. And a couple of the books that really resonated with me, that I kind of like keep in the back of my mind for my own writing and just my own presentation of my story, were a heartbreaking work of Staggering Genius by Dave Eggers, and also Running with Scissors by Augustin Burroughs. I really liked how they were able to tell hard stories and do it in a way where you came away feeling as if you knew them, you gained something, and that there was some humor to it too.
Yes, and thank you for the recommended book, Miss Amanda. And in the age of digital connection, what are the most meaningful ways to offer genuine support where you can't be there in person?
So I think text messaging is great. There were a lot of instances where it was too hard for me to even have a phone conversation with close friends or see anybody in person when I was in the midst of, coping with a miscarriage, coping with my dad's illness and his death. And so text messaging felt like, for me, it felt like a really safe way to stay connected to people. There was enough of a distance where I still felt like I had my privacy, but also I knew that people were there if I needed them. So I would say text messaging is great. Connecting with people on social media, Zoom calls. It really depends on the person and the relationship and what they're looking for. But I think what's great about the world today is that there are so many ways to connect, and we can kind of pick and choose what feels right depending on the situation and the moment.
Yes, indeed. And let's talk about the supporter's journey and impact. From your own experience, what was the most difficult lesson you learned about what not to do when trying to support someone in crisis?
So one of the things that I would caution people against, and that I hope I don't fall into the same pattern again, is this idea of that I needed to stuff my own feelings aside, and that I needed to be really strong for the people around me, as if acknowledging that my dad was dying to my dad would have, pulled the curtain away and revealed something that he didn't know. He knew he was dying. We all knew what was going on, but all of us as caregivers, we were trying to be positive, because that's what he needed. And for the most part it was, but he also needed to be able to have conversations and get closure on his life and be able to communicate things that were important to him to say to us. And my tendency at the time was to kind of, brush it off or minimize it and say, no, you're going to be around forever. We're going to figure this out. Because I thought that was what was going to make him feel better. And in retrospect, I don't think it was. So I think it's finding that balance of being positive, being supportive, but also being honest and giving people the space to say what they need to say, even if it makes you a little bit uncomfortable, which it definitely did for me.
Yes, finding the balance indeed. And Miss Amanda, what does a supporter need to hear to feel validated on their own effort, even when they feel they are failing or have no more to give?
Yeah. Which happens a lot, and it's a complicated situation. And I think the thing that caregivers need is their own support network and their own place to unload what they're going through, and to be able to do it in a way that they don't feel guilty or like that they're taking something away from, the sick person or the person who's in crisis. Because it is really hard to be a caregiver, and it is really hard to watch somebody that you love die. And even if you're not the person experiencing the physical pain of that and grappling with like losing your own life, you're still grappling with losing a lot. And it's okay. And it's okay to be upset about that. And it's okay to find people who are able to listen to you and recognize that it's not selfish. It's not selfish to have complicated feelings about being somebody else's caretaker.
Yes, it's not selfish, people. And how does cultivating this skill of supportive presence not only help the individual in crisis, but transform the health of our families, workplaces, and communities?
It's all about building the networks and the support. And so within my family, being able to rely on my stepmom and my little sister and be close in that way allowed me to create the kind of community that I know that my dad would be proud of. I know that he's if he's looking down at us, that he is happy to see that we have formed this bond and that we've connected, and that the tragedy and the grief didn't just completely tear everybody apart, that we were able to figure out how to support one another and navigate what life would look like after he was gone.
Yes, indeed. And before we wrap up our discussion today, Miss Amanda, I'm inviting you to please do listen to my other podcast, people. My other podcast, because my abstract essay is already in fifth season, abstract poetry in second season, and my book 101 review in fifth season too. Comedy 101 in third season, and my food 101 in fifth season as well. Geography 101, love letters, movie 101 review, music 101 on fourth season, science 101, sex 101 in second season, and my baby podcast law 101, mental health 101, and Bible verses 101. Please listen to them wherever you listen your podcast. So, Miss Amanda, to close with the actionable hope, what is one of a simple shift in language, mindset, or action that anyone can make tomorrow to become more effective, compassionate support for the people in their life?
I think the thing that has really helped me in the everyday and can be a very small change and shift in perspective is being able to find the moments of gratitude and find the things that are good, even when life feels really hard and even when everything seems like it's just like a whirlwind of disaster. Of being able to say, today was a really hard day, but it was beautiful outside today, and I'm grateful for that. Or I got to have this one phone conversation that felt all right. So it's finding the little moments and being able to pull from them in order to be more positive and be more aware of that there is good in the world, even if very hard things are also happening.
Yes, indeed. People, stop complaining and count your blessings first.
You can do both, I think.
Yes.
So,
You can do both too, but please first thank everything and then you complain. I think that's the good karma. Thank first and then you complain.
that's
But
fair.
it's
Yeah.
better. It's better if count the blessing first. Okay, thank God I have Miss Amanda Landes as my guest today. Thank God that she shared her empowering answer. And of course, thank you, Miss Amanda, for sharing your book to the world. I'm almost okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. And can you please invite our listeners to support your book, your advocacy, or whatever projects that you're doing right now?
Thank you. Yeah. So you can definitely find my book on Amazon, and you can find me on Instagram at Amanda E. Landis, where I'll be posting a lot about whatever I'm doing, in the near future. And also this website, I'mAlmostOK.com. And you can reach out to me at email at amanda@I'mAlmostOK.com if you have any questions directly.
Yes, people, I support Miss Amanda Landis because if you support her, for sure, more and more empowering, I'm almost okay to come. So, Miss Amanda, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. It's been great being here.
Likewise, more to come, people. See you soon.